Welcome to the Fantasy Cycling Podcast, featuring your hosts, Grant Gardner and John Anderson. Chapeau, you're in the mix.
Welcome to the Fantasy Cycling Podcast. I'm John, here with my friend Grant. Grant, how are you this afternoon?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Doing really well. A lot better after I cleaned whatever that was off my bike.
Yeah.
Just sitting here. We were just sitting here getting ready to get started, and I look over at my beautiful Specialized Tarmac SL8.
Sponsor us.
Man, probably the nastiest thing I've ever seen, just sitting on my down tube, just looked like a piece of gum almost. Just melted and oily. And
somebody throw out an oil slick on the Frogger ride this week.
I don't know, dude. It's very distracting.
Yeah. Well,
thanks for your patience.
We got the bike cleaned.
We gotta do some quick bike maintenance before we get started.
We got the bike cleaned. We got the landline phone silenced.
Yeah. Yes, we still have a landline phone. Don't at me.
We're ready to lock in though.
Dude, a lot to talk about. I feel like this is going to be a recap heavy episode because we've not gotten till the middle of next week until there's another race, and a lot of those start lists aren't finalized. As you were just kind of schooling me on, Grant, how did you enjoy Strade Bianche?
It was pretty epic.
Yeah,
it was. You don't want an injury necessarily to factor into proceedings. And we'll go into that about Tom Pidcock waiting and different things like that. But it definitely added to the drama of the day. And thankfully, no one's season was injured. And not only were their seasons not injured, their race result wasn't altered either.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like we're gonna add another level of difficulty for Pog here, and it made it more fun. So
yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it thoroughly too. It's a great race. A lot of people have weighed in on this. I wish we could have seen more of it because I feel like you tuned in and it was already a pretty small group by the time the coverage started, at least for us here in the States taking in on a max. Seems like a whole world. I mean, some of the images that you saw on Instagram were pretty crazy of some of the crashes that happened earlier. But yeah, I mean, I got a lot of thoughts and feelings about it.
Let's hear it. What was your takeaway on? I mean, we thought that Pogačar was going to win.
Yeah,
we knew that Pogačar was going to win.
Strongest ride. I mean, it's a very attrition kind of focused race.
Yeah.
Always is. Best rider, I think, won. I felt like Pidcock comes out of that really well in the sense that, listen, Pog showed him a hell of a lot of respect.
Yeah.
I felt, and how he rode. And I felt like the commentators were good on the coverage we got.
Yeah.
It was Adam Blythe, and
it was a little bit of everybody.
Some of that, yeah, they kind of took a turn.
Sometimes it was Robbie McEwen, sometimes it was Blythe, but mostly Rob Hatch.
And I really enjoyed listening to them. I felt like they did a good job of kind of pointing out the nuances of like a little bit of a chess match that was unfolding between those two riders. It was interesting to see the respect that Pog was paying. And that's what makes him good. You don't really see him disrespecting riders in situations like that are, he put respect on his name. They were relaying with each other. I felt like Pidcock had to relay with him. But, was Pog pushing a little bit, trying to sort of say, hey, I know you've got this rep as this great descender, but look what I can do too.
Yeah.
And to me, if you're Pidcock, that's got to be, you're riding against like Michael Jordan. Like you got to take advantage of any little crack to slay this dragon, and him forcing a mistake out of Pog has got to be like number one on your bingo card if you're if you're what's their team? Q36.5.
Yeah.
On the bus, you got to say, look, we just got to hope that he makes a mistake. You can't make one first. And it's like when you see two great football teams play, you know, who's going to make the first mistake? And Pog made it.
Threw an interception.
Yeah. And I just don't know. I think he's sort of telling a half truth to the media when he says, "Hey, I sat up because it's the gentlemanly thing to do. He's a champion." Yes, all that's true. I think that's probably like 20% of the reason why he sat up. Maybe 80% was strategic. Maybe he knew that he was going to get caught anyways. Yeah. Maybe they were in his ear saying like, "Look, the pace." But I feel like he should have done more to make Pog work to come up.
Yeah.
And prolong that kind of agony of the chase. I mean, I don't know. That's my main thing.
Yeah, I think the difference in the crash and maybe some other crashes that we've seen where it's the leader or the yellow jersey that crashed. This wasn't, you know, a motorbike that got in the way or
the race was on.
A fan that stuck out a sign or something like that. It was Pog made a racing move.
And he made a mistake.
He made a mistake. And that was based off his skill, just like the rest of the race is based off his skill and fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't pan out for him. And I would not have faulted Pidcock for continuing to attack in that situation and trying to get rid of Pogačar. But I think Pidcock comes out the winner in that he probably would have finished second anyway. And now everybody has a more favorable perspective of him.
Yeah, he raised his profile. It carries on the vibes. To see the respect that he was shown. I mean, the bottle exchange even. Like, this is why Pog is Patron, right? He's like, it's like, is this a mind game? Is he just that relaxed? He probably was that relaxed at that point. They were probably riding tempo, you know, and just relaying off of each other. Yeah, sure, have a bottle. Does that make Pidcock more inclined to wait later? Like, oh, he gave me that bottle earlier. Yeah. I'm probably going to get caught anyways.
That's to further the Michael Jordan analogy. That's like, you know, taking a free throw with your eyes closed. Like at that point, Pog's just showing off.
Yeah.
So,
well, what about the rest of the field? I mean, from a fantasy perspective, you got just running down the top 9. You've got Pog, number 1, Pidcock at 2, Tim Wellens.
Yeah, I mean, we had
who we spoke about, and I state, you know, ordinarily if he's on a different team, he's an automatic take probably for me because he's great in a race like this as well, and still finish on the podium, even riding in support for Pog. Maybe something to remember in the future for one-day races because the trend has been for that really early launch rather.
Yeah. So it was Swift that was with them, right?
Yeah. British world champ, gravel world champ.
So
and he rode well too.
He rode well, but ultimately he got burned out, and it is interesting.
Well, he kind of suffered from the Pog crash more than Pog did.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I don't think anyone was paying attention at that point, but you know, you mentioned Wellens, UAE getting 2 people on the podium. That's impressive. Whereas Wellens wasn't part of proceedings earlier in the race. And then
Wellens is only 400 credits. We gave Healy a shout out. Very impressed with Healy.
Yeah, EF had 2 guys in the top 10, mm-hmm. Healy and Michael Valgren.
Yeah.
Gianni Vermeersch would have been big value here, 200 credits. He's a gravel guy as well as a classics guy. He's going to be on my short list for, you know, a top 10 at Paris-Roubaix again. He seems to ride his own race. Like Philipsen and Van der Poel can take care of themselves. And then he's like, okay, well, I'm going to go for it too. And the last couple of years, he has finished well at Roubaix. So Van at Velt was up there again. No surprises there. I am impressed by.
I know what you're about to say. And I want to talk about it.
Roger Adria?
Yeah.
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 So I'm impressed by that top 10.
Definitely someone to watch in the future on this race. Only 400 credits and a great rider. I mean, he's in a one day like this. He's worth a look.
Yeah. And then we had a couple guys that I would say are quote unquote sprinters. They're still classics guys, but you've got Lewis Askey and Florian Vermeers that finished in the top 20. So
yeah,
interesting results.
Only 1.4% of users took. I mean, you only got 2 points out of him, but could have made the difference on a team.
On a team where you've got some guys that are.
I don't know who the best team was. Who the winner, the user was that won. Have a look at what he got, what he had. Danny, 31 from Poland. Oh, he had Pog, Pidcock, Van Etveld, Wellens, Healy, Magnus Court, and Vermeersch. And then 2 DNFs.
Yeah.
Kwiatkowski and Simmons.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I had Kwiatkowski as well. Obviously, Danny, 31, had him too because he's Polish. And then I think Quinn Simmons was an interesting pick there, but could have gone either way.
Got a motor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote down in my notes, Adria, someone to watch in the future in this race. Mikel Landa coming in 11th.
Yeah, Landa and Bilbao.
Yeah, well, I mean, Bilbao, like we talked about in the preview, always does well. All right. I don't know, a great addition, a very exciting addition.
Yep.
And if it hadn't have been I think the crash actually helped it, gave it the drama that you needed to make it memorable.
Yeah, it would have been a little forgetful without the crash.
Will Pog do Roubaix?
Definitely not after the crash.
That's my take too. All right. Then we launched in
a lot of stage racing. So Paris-Nice kicked off on Sunday. It's going to be 8 stages, finished this following Sunday in Nice. And then Tirreno-Adriatico kicked off on Monday, and it'll run for all 7 days this week.
Yeah.
Bad weather.
A lot of drama yesterday with the weather. It was bad again today, but not as bad as yesterday. Hail and
guys like pouring the hot tea on their
faffing about. A lot of faffing about from the race organizers trying to figure out what to do. Jonas got inside the car and looked sad.
Yeah, that was like a movie scene,
memified.
Or a piece of art. Yeah,
it was a Renaissance painting.
Yeah,
I mean, stage 1, we saw Merlier win. He looked really good. He's looked really great in these more dynamic, more complicated sprints.
Yep.
But Tarlin really, and actually literally just got done riding with some friends, and we were talking about Josh Tarlin's like, hey, someone was like, I've been really enjoying watching this Josh Tarlin character. He's good. I was like, dude, do you listen to the show? We've been simping on Tarlin since like last year.
Yeah.
But I mean, in stage 1, I was kind of scratching my head a little bit because I do feel like Ineos have gone on to have not only a fun, but also an interesting and kind of probably a smart tactical race in Paris-Nice so far. But I was scratching my head a little bit about how they were going to use him because there was a tumble, and then he ends up being the one that pulls the entire group of 3 back to the bunch. And then they had him attack in stage 1, and I was out my seat cheering him on. I think he got covered by some strong riders, but he looks really strong. The next day on that Monday, there was a bunch of crashes. Johansson got in a little bit of a break. Merlier again with the dub. And then Tirreno-Adriatico starting up on Monday too. That was a time trial, so I didn't watch it.
You don't watch time trials?
Not usually.
Yeah.
Do you watch them? I will. I mean, I'll watch the big ones.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely watch the Grand Tour ones. if you know it's going to be tight, then like I think they can be really fun to watch.
Yeah.
If you've got like Remco and Ghana and a few other guys there,
Tension builds.
Yeah.
It's good. There was a team time trial in stage 3 of Paris-Nice. Did you see, man, good to see Astana getting a little love. Did you see their little gloves and socks tactic?
the coordinated colors,
I saw a little bit on Instagram or YouTube, can't remember where, but they were talking about, how they came up with that. I love little stuff like that. It was kind of a creative problem to a creative solution to a problem that they had.
Yeah.
So good on Astana. Bit of a statement win from Visma though in that team time trial, I guess.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then it kind of went all downhill from there.
It's uphill but downhill. So,
go ahead. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
We'll get into our banter. We've been talking to our buddies about a lot about the Visma dynamics, but so they're 1-2 on GC right now.
This is the thing. We're sitting here, we're talking about how Visma looks like crap and
Yeah.
and that Jonas's career is over and he's washed.
Yeah.
And then I look at the results and I'm like, well, I mean, they got Jorgensen in 1 and Jonas in 2. I mean, that's pretty good. But the vibes are low.
It just, the optics of getting, pipped to the line by João Almeida, it's not real good.
Okay, so was that stage or that climb in last year's Paris-Nice?
I don't know.
They were talking about it on the commentators, and I felt like they interviewed Jonas, and I feel like he got pipped on the line last time he rode that hill. But I don't think we're making a mountain out of a molehill. I really felt like that was a huge confidence blow.
Yeah. Didn't look great compared to what we've seen with Pogačar. If we're comparing him to Pogačar, that type of thing would not have happened to Pogačar
right
at their current time comparison at this time,
Yeah.
So if we're comparing alien to alien, Pogačar looks more impressive right now, obviously.
Yeah.
Whereas on the results sheet, Jonas, he's in second place on GC, but he's losing to his teammate who is supposedly...
Give us Greenland.
Yeah.
America on top, dude.
I mean, looking at come on, Jonas. Looking at the results on the stage, I'm trying to see.
So again,
there was a lot of Americans. Yeah. So we had Jorgensen in 3rd on today's stage, McNulty in 7th, and Sheffield in 9th. I don't see any Danes in the top 10.
Not a Dane in sight. Listen, man, what do you make of this with this whole thing with Jonas? Are you like a put this in context kind of guy?
No, I'm full tinfoil hat. I'm
sick of context. He's washed. I'm done. I'm done with Jonas. He's not going on any of my teams for the rest of the year. Bench him.
My hot take is that Geraint Thomas is going to finish higher than Jonas Vingegaard at the Tour de France this year.
You heard it here, guys. If you're taking Jonas on your fantasy team, you're dumb. His career's over. I mean, in all seriousness, I mean, it's March.
Yeah.
You're sharpening. You're not built. He's not Geraint Thomas. You're not a slow build-up guy. He didn't come. He attacked. He attacked to try and win that stage. I think that there's problems.
I mean, I did it as kind of a troll, but I did not pick Jonas on my team. So,
okay.
Which it's not like it's going well for me, but
yeah.
I had
he is second GC.
I had Skelmosa, Merlier, Buitrago, Rip. He crashed out. Tarling, Janier, Galmartin, Castrillo, Arlian Parapontra, and Sam Watson.
Yeah.
So Merlier and Janier have done well for me. Not much else from the other folks, but
Yeah. I mean, my team's kind of mid. I'm not sweating it. But yeah, Almeida's got more points than Jonas. Miller, Jorgensen, I didn't even give him a sniff. Felt like we were going to see some scratch. I thought we were going to see some scratch racing.
yeah.
This was going to be about putting some confidence into Jonas, showing some dominance. No.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the rider rankings, the best possible team right now, there are 2 Visma Lisa bike riders in the top 9, but it's Jorgensen and Zinkel.
Well, Jonas is, okay.
In terms of best possible team. So if you had the best possible team right now, it'd be Tim Merlier, Matteo Jorgensen, Lenny Martinez, Arno Demar, Florian Lipovitz, Axel Zinkel, Emilian Janer, Timo Killick, which keep an eye on him for the classics, and Mick Van Dyke.
Most disappointing 1,000 or above rider is our dude, Ben O'Connor. He's not looked good either in this race. Also had a bad day yesterday.
Yeah, he was
on stage 3.
Had another Netflix worthy moment,
Or 4, sorry. Did he? Did he have a little moment? Did he have a little tantrum?
There was a little tantrum walking into the team bus that was caught on film, but
So Tuesday was a good day because the Tirreno stage was good too on Tuesday.
Yeah. What do our teams look like over at Tirreno right now? So
pivoting to Tirreno, I felt like I really, time trial Monday, Tuesday Milan dominated sprint, and then Tuesday.
Did you pick Ghana?
No, I didn't. Ghana's looked awesome.
Yeah. So I did not pick him purely based off of he hasn't looked great lately. And if he wasn't going to win the time trial, then he's not worth it. But he did win. So, and he's kind of held on at the top there.
Well, yeah, I felt like it all kind of popped off on stage 3. We had a sprint and a time trial before that. And that final climb. First of all, I want to give EF a shout out because they had some fun tactics with Healy and Carapaz throwing counters. One would be reeled in, and the other would be counterattacking as soon as the catch was made. You had MVDP in there, and you had Ghana and Ineos covering and responding to the attacks. It was freaking awesome to watch, dude. Did you watch it? I enjoyed it thoroughly. 2K to go, and Ghana just lit one and went off and attacked. I was like, come on, let's go.
Which that's what you might get sometimes, but you never know.
Yeah, and then you had all these like GC types there in a bunch sprint, and I think Pidcock got skunked, got second. Really, he should have gotten that. And Andrea Vendrami got the win in that. And I think Olaf Koy won today. But talking about sprints, second today, not Matthew Vanderpool, but my fantasy team rider, Rick Plumers.
Wow. Yeah, it was an all Dutch podium today.
Fantasy gold, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. A lot of value there. 200 credits. He was 4th on stage 3 and 2nd today. So that's big time.
He bumped me up to 2,000 something in the out of 7,000. That's not bad. How's your team doing?
I'm at 1737. So
Yeah. You need Ghana on there.
Yeah, if I had Ghana, I'd be in a lot better position. If we're looking at, let's look at the most points scored so far. If we're looking at the most valuable riders, I have 2 of the top 3. I've got Milan and Ayuso, which I'm sure a lot of people do. And then I've got Taberi, who's 6th. And then some good value. I actually had Louis Barre on my team, and he DNS'd the first stage, which that's where my DNS pick came in. And I had Cataneo on there.
Yeah.
And
is he doing good?
Yeah,
oh, he is.
He's got 34 points. So
is that the first time that's happened to you where it's like worked out in your favor? I mean,
Yes.
Of course you can't know what your original rider would have got, but that's a pretty nice little backup.
Yep. So that turned out to be a good backup.
Who's this guy on Tudor? Mikel Zillard?
Zillard. He's a
French?
little bit of a time trialist.
He's got good, he's done well. Got 37 points.
He's Dutch as well.
Dutch.
And he was 16th on stage 1, but he was 2nd on stage 2. So he's a little bit of a time trial / sprinter kind of guy, which I mean, Milan finished top 5 on stage 1. So
and what's the GC looking like on that? Let me pull that up. So you've got Ghana, Ayuso, and Taberi rounding up the current top 3. And then, what is it, like 5 seconds behind Taberi is our favorite Canadian, Derek G.
Yep.
And then it's Cataneo.
Yeah.
In 5th. So you're going to continue to get those points as this race goes on.
Yeah, I mean that's going to start to shake up a lot.
And he's got to be a youth. Is he a young rider too?
No, he's old.
How old is this dude? 34.
Yeah. So
I just got done looking at Mikel Zillard, and he's 25. That's where my head was at.
So Ghana should theoretically hold on tomorrow in case unless Ayuso just really turns the screw. But Ghana should fall off GC on stage 6. I mean, we've got.
But look who's also here, Grant, in the top 15 most valuable riders at only 400 credits. Roger Adria again.
Let's go.
He's coming on.
Keep him on your short list, folks.
Yeah, and I'll tell you who else is they're turning out to be a little bit of fantasy gold for cheap is these Van Dyke brothers.
Yep.
And they're workers, but like they still score points. It's like they like to hang on and still finish. It's like they're young enough, like
they're getting the table scraps.
Yeah, they're like, all right, I've done my job, but I still want to
top 20
tell my friends I got top 20 or something.
Yeah, which we saw that at Roubaix, right? I mean, I think did they both finish in the top 15 at Roubaix?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So I think one of them ended up getting relegated.
They're both on Bora, right? Both of them.
Well, they switched. So Mick is on Bora, and I believe Tim is still on Visma.
But last year they were both on Visma.
Yep.
Okay. No, I wasn't imagining that.
So, yeah, a lot still to play for, fantasy wise and GC wise, in both of these races. I think we're better placed in that one. We've got some guys that are still going to factor in for GC and potentially get a bunch of points at the end. So there's hope for us yet.
Yeah. Well, this is unlike for pro riders, for fantasy pickers, it's a slow build. Don't read too much into this for context. When I get to the tour, I'm going to be firing. Man.
Yeah, I mean we can
win it all this year.
We can condemn Jonas all day, but I mean we're allowed to have some. I'm
tired of people telling me like, well, it's early in the year, it's just March. Don't read too much into this. No, I'm reading everything into it. Maximalist on this now. I mean, really, the shape that you're in March is the shape you're going to be in. I mean, I guess I'm trying to think of big differences that we've seen. I think last year, was it Remco? He rode like a 1 week stage race. Can't remember which one it was. Like a couple months before the tour, and it was a little it might have been one of these two, and it was a little bit lackluster. Yeah. He showed up to the tour, and he looked like lean.
Yeah.
He dropped like 8 or 9 pounds and was like
I think
fighting weight.
I think his pattern has been peak for LBL and then go to altitude training camp and then come back for the tour, you know?
Yeah. I'm bearish on Remco. I'm bearish on Jonas. Bullish on Pog. Big time bearish on Rog.
Oof. Yeah. You're wanting them to completely divest from that. You're saying
I'd get rid of them.
sell them off
Cut
to
him
Tudor, you know?
Yeah. Ship him out to Israel Premier Tech.
You're trying to put them in a home.
Washed. Jonas and Rog are both washed, man. There's only 2 good riders left in the world.
2.
Yep.
Pog and
Matthew Vanderpool.
Okay.
I like Remco too. I think but Remco's hurt.
Yeah. Well, that was a lot of rambling. We can hop over to look at a couple of these races we've got middle of next week. We've got Milano, Tirreno, Noker Corsa, the Grand Prix de Dinan, and the Coxada Classic. And those all lead up to Milano San Remo next Saturday. So it looks like Milano Tirreno, we're still waiting on pretty much all of the start list to finalize, but we've got a lot of riders already confirmed for Noker Corsa. So I did already pick a team for that.
All right, well, let's hear it.
And
who you got?
As of right now, Tim Merlier is not on the start list.
You can take Jasper.
Yeah, and Tim Merlier has won the last 3 editions of this race. It is a classics race. It's got some mixed surfaces, and it finishes in a little bit of an uphill sprint. And the last 3 years, he has bested Philipsen and the like in this one. But lucky for Philipsen, he's in good form, and Merlier's not there. So I've got Philipsen. I've got Milan Fretten, who has looked really good this season. Arne Merritt, who we picked a lot. Lucas Kubis, who we've mentioned already a lot this season. He has looked good at La Salmon, KBK, Omloop, and this should be a good race for him. Muschetti, who has looked good so far, won the Grand Prix Cricolon. Don't know how to say that. Arnaud Delis, one of my probably outside picks here, Erland Bleekra for Uno X, and Hugo Hofstetter, and then our American Luke Lamperti will be on the start list for this one. He's a sprinter. He's looked good at the top level of last year, but this will be his first European race this season. So I'm excited to see how he goes.
Sweet. Yeah, I haven't even made a team yet for this. Looking across it. Pavel Bittner.
Yep.
Worth a look. Lee, I agree. I might take Lewis Askey on this. I mean, this is going to be one of those races where I might have money left over. What about who did I see? I mean, obviously Morgado is showing up again.
Yep.
Always like to take him. And then Rune Herkutz on UAE might be worth a look.
Yeah, the biggest name that I probably left off my team that will be a factor most likely is Milan Minton for Lotto. The only reason I didn't pick him is because if Arnaud Delis is the preferred rider for Lotto, then Minton's less likely to finish in the top 10. But he has finished in the top 10 of this race in the last 2 years. So
okay, that
might be...
Here's what I just put on here just as we were talking.
Unnecessary risk on my part. Yeah, what do you got?
Jasper, Bittner, I was looking for one more, so I just threw Milan Mentin as you were talking about him. Rune Herkutz and Morgado from UAE. Louis Askey, Honor de Lee, Arne Merritt, and Emils Le Pen for Q36.5. 0.5 of users have got him. He's going to win the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, he's a pretty good sprinter type. I think you should leave that team exactly how it is.
Do it. I mean, I just gave it zero thought.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, there's a few things I might poke holes in there, like you picking 2 UAE riders but not picking Milano. But
yeah, I don't like him. I don't like him for this race. He sucks.
Yeah. he can be disappointing at times. So, well, I don't think we have anything valuable left to say. We're definitely, we're not only speculating, but we're speculating about things that aren't even finalized yet. So
it's fun. It was fun to talk about.
Yeah.
How we enjoyed Paris and Tirreno and Strade, because it's hard picking and always looking ahead. I mean, predicting something is so hard.
Yeah.
And guys, we are not a sports book, and we are not pros. We're just having fun with this. So
yep.
But we'd love to hear from you guys on the platforms. We've got our handle is listen to FCP. It's the number 2 in there. We're on both X and Instagram, and you can hear us on all of the podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple, and now also on YouTube. Welcome to our new YouTube listeners. We got quite a few people checking us out on YouTube. We should have done this sooner. Hit us in the comments with any takes that you've got. Hot ones are only welcome.
Yep.
And I'm deeply sorry to my wife, who's a huge Jonas fan.
Yep.
And anyone else who's listened to this who felt that we disrespected him. But sometimes the truth hurts. All right.
We wish him the best, though.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week for Milano Sanremo. Big one.
It's a good one.
So we'll see y'all then.
See you soon. Thanks, Graham.